I've never had the experience of like a girl growing up, or even like a woman growing into a woman in like the traditional sense. Never had a slumber party, never had a prom date. All of these things that I'll never have. And it hurts sometimes. It hurts. The reason why I'm making this video is because I'm running out of time. And what I mean by that is I am going to transition completely. Like, I'm going to finish my transition. Finish. When do you ever finish? But I'm going to finish at least my physical transition this year, 2020. Going to get my orchiectomy, which is going to remove my testes. And then I'm going to have my breast surgery, so these things will be a lot larger. And then we'll see, but I am thinking about planning facial feminization surgery by the end of 2020, which would pretty much put me at a place where you won't be able to really tell that I'm trans, so I'll pass. Not that that is my goal, but it is sort of my goal. I don't know how to put it. It's strange. Being trans, it's like you kind of are boxed in as a trans woman to go for passing for sure, so you can look like a female and be read completely as a female, or then you go for I don't care if I pass, which then kind of like puts you in sort of the direction of like the more extreme of that, which is like I definitely intentionally don't pass. Down with the patriarchy, down with predominant beauty standards. I'm going to be charging and like changing our view of like what the beauty aesthetic is. All of those are totally valid, and for me, my choice is to go down the route of I have some inherent beauty standards that I'm sticking to, and there are changes that can be made, but predominantly I still exist in a world that is dominated by this view of the feminine physique and what it is to be a woman and how to be celebrated. I personally want to just fully experience life in its greatest form, because it gives me the ability to experience that. I've never had the experience of like a girl growing up, or even like a woman growing into a woman in like the traditional sense. Never had a slumber party, never had a prom date. All of these things that I'll never have. And it hurts sometimes. It hurts. Because you, it's like you're born again at a different age. It's like, oh, I just came into the world, but I'm like in terms of my age, I'm a full-grown adult. And I have all this baggage. And the world is not so friendly to me. And, you know, we could go down that path and it could turn into a tragic tragedy. And I think a lot of trans people, especially trans women, have that experience because it's a lot harder to pass because of testosterone. And so that is a part of my experience, that like tragedy of my own personal experience. But it doesn't dictate my future. It doesn't control my destiny. And so a lot of my transition is taking control of my destiny, owning what I have, and then being able to walk the path and do the things. I'm so old in the sense that I feel like a wise old man, like one of those Chinese ones, like Confucius say. And at the same time, I'm like a 21-year-old girl who's, or maybe even 19 or 20, who's just gotten into college, and she's like, oh my God, like, wow, this world is amazing. There's so many things for me to do and experience and love. Guys, wow, there's like guys everywhere. Oh, look at that guy and look at that guy. Oh my God. And I've just only started to begin experiencing this, the experience of like going on dates and having chivalry and big men and all kinds of men. Complete change of sexuality this past year. We're in 2020 though, so can't really go too far back, but yeah, 2019 I started dating men, for those that don't know. And yeah, looking towards 2020, I think I'm really gonna be wrapping it up. Which is why I'm making this video, because once it's done, it's like you can't turn back the clock. That story is over. Once you achieve this level of a transition, you're kind of just, a lot of people just see you as the end. I had this experience a little bit. When I moved from San Francisco to Portland. While I was in San Francisco, I started transitioning. And so a lot of the discussion was around, how's your transition and going? Like, how are things with it? Like, are you okay? Like, I love you. Like, let's celebrate you. And like these little victories, like getting a haircut or getting your first dress and things like that. I moved to Portland, it's like no one cares because they just see me as the person who has transitioned. And so the same is going to be for when I finish a lot of my physical transitions, which is I've just transitioned, and then that's the end of the story, which is the beginning of a new story, right? And that new story is going to be about transformation, and not of the transitioning kind, but of like the inner alchemy kind, the kind of personal, alchemical, energetic transformation, how you get there, how you reach inside yourself and change and shift and move. I'm sure 90% of the people that are watching this are trans, and I don't know when that change will happen in terms of my audience, but I'm going to teach stuff that isn't just for trans people. It's for every freaking human on this earth that wants to awaken. And I have a unique perspective that I don't think anyone else has, because I'm so connected to my deep lives and I'm also transitioning. How many spiritual speakers do you have that are transgender? You know, like, we go through a very special kind of detachment and transformation and inner alchemy and all of that. And so with that perspective of the balance of the masculine and the understanding of the feminine as well, I'm going to shapeshift, y'all. So I'll stop the video there. Let's like get ready for 2020. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for showing up for you. I'll see you next time.